Good morning, second grade friends. I am so excited that we get to be together again today. I want to see your thumb go up if you completed the outside challenge from yesterday. Oh, I see so many thumbs up. Yay. My thumb is up because I completed my outside challenge yesterday too. I went on a walk with my husband and Emma rode on her rollerblades and Isaac rode on his bike. So we got outside in the sunshine and we felt so happy and so great after we did that. We're going to have a little time later for you to tell me what you did outside. I am so excited to hear. It's important for us to get outside on these beautiful days. Okay. All right. So we are going to start today by, I'm going to share my screen with you. And you know how we always start all of our classes. We always start with who got the Sparkly Star Award from yesterday. Remember, to earn the Sparkly Star Award, you need to have serious eyes, you need to have listening ears, and you need to be thinking and sharing your thinking so that you can help others learn from you. And yesterday's Sparkly Star Award goes to Alexis. Yay, let's give Alexis a round of applause. I noticed Blaze and Sarah and Javon and David, you are so excited for Alexis. You're showing joy for someone else's success. That is so amazing. What great friends you are. It is such a privilege to get excited about our friends when they have a big success. All right. So, just a quick review before we start our lesson today. You know, we have been learning all about story elements. Why is it important to know about story elements? Well, it's important because knowing the elements of a story help us understand the story better. And good readers read for understanding. We need to have meaning when we read. When we read something, we want to have it in our brains and think about it and really have it mean something and maybe even change us in a way. So good readers read for meaning and understanding, and knowing the elements of a story helps us with that understanding. So remember, 2 days ago, we talked about the characters in the story, and that characters are the people or the animals in the story. The characters are what the story is about. And then we learned about the setting yesterday. Do you remember what the setting is? That's right, David. The setting is where and when the story takes place. That tells us a lot. Like when we're reading through a story, we want to be thinking about those things. Okay, who are the characters? Where is the setting? Another important thing for us to know is about the problem in a story and the solution. So every good story has a problem and a solution. And today, our objective is to demonstrate the ability to identify a problem and solution in a story. That is going to be really important because if you can identify what the problem is in a story and the solution, then you're understanding so much of what that story is about and so much about what the author wanted you to know when they wrote that story. So we're going to learn about problem and solution. Can you say that? Problem and solution. Great job, guys. All right. So problem. Let's talk really specifically. What is a problem? A problem is what goes wrong in the story. What has happened that might not be so good for the characters? What is wrong? It's a fancy way to say problem is a challenge or an obstacle. What are the characters going through that they have a problem with that they need to figure out what the solution is for that? And the solution is how the problem was fixed. How was the problem fixed in the story? If we can find those two things during our reading, we are going to be understanding so much about what that story is really about. All right, so let me give you an example, a real life, true story example of a problem and solution. So remember how I told you that yesterday I went walking with my husband Can you get your walking arms out? Let's go walking. Well, we were walking and Isaac was on his bike and Emma was on her rollerblades. And all of a sudden, Isaac fell and he skinned his knee. Oh my goodness. Touch your nose if you ever skinned your knee like Isaac. That hurts, huh? Oh, yes. And it was a big scrape. I mean, it was pretty bad. That was the problem yesterday. Now, I'm going to give you just a few seconds to think. What do you think is the best solution for that problem that Isaac was having? Let's think. Get your thinking brains on. Did you think? Okay. Guess what happened? We gave Isaac a Band-Aid for his skinned knee to make it all better. And we also gave him a big hug. Does your mommy give you a big hug when you fall, or your daddy give you a big hug when you fall and get hurt? That helped him feel better. So the problem was he fell and had a skinned knee and he was feeling pretty upset. And the solution was that we gave him a Band-Aid and a big hug. All right. The problem and the solution, they have to fit together like a puzzle. Can you touch your nose if you have done puzzles before? I love puzzles. Sometimes they're tricky, but puzzles, they fit together and they don't work unless all the pieces are in the right spot and they fit together. That's like a problem and solution. They have to fit together just like a puzzle. All right. We are in the we do part of our lesson. And you guys know this is my favorite part. I love to work with you and I love for us to do things together as we're learning. This is my favorite part of our lesson. I am going to read you a problem and then I am going to show you 3 different solutions. Say solutions. Good job. I'm going to show you 3 different solutions and you are going to have to think and then you are going to have to tell me what you think are the best solutions for the problems that I put up. Are you ready? All right. Does anyone want to read our first problem? Sarah, I see your hand up. I see that you are being such a good participator. Go ahead. Can you read it for us? That's right. My friend called me a mean name and hurt my feelings. Touch your cheek if you've ever had anyone call you a mean name and hurt your feelings. I know I have. That feels yucky, huh? Let's look at the solutions. All right. The first one says his mom put a Band-Aid on it and gave him a big hug. Okay. I told her that it hurt my feelings and she apologized. I said I was sorry and I bought her a new one. Oh, I see so many hands going up. You are so excited to tell me which one you think is the best solution. David, can you tell us what you think is the best solution? David thinks I told her that it hurt my feelings and she apologized. David, look how many people are agreeing with you. Remember, when we agree with someone, we go like this. And if we don't agree, we go like this. We kind of say, no, maybe I think something different. All right, let's do the next one. Jeff didn't understand his homework. Okay, Jeff didn't understand. Have you ever not understood your homework? I know I have. That is tricky when you can't understand your homework. Here are the solutions. I tied my shoes. I'm thinking. He raised his hand and asked his teacher to explain it again. Okay. And the last one says, her mom read a book about spiders to her that explained most spiders can't hurt you. Oh my goodness, you are all such great participators today. I see so many hands up. All right, Blaze, what do you think is the best solution for that problem that Jeff had with not understanding his homework? Blaze thinks he raised his hand and asked his teacher to explain it again. Blaze, do you see everyone going like this? I think they agree with you. I agree too. That is the best solution. It fits. That makes sense. Jeff didn't understand his schoolwork, so he raised his hand and asked his teacher to explain it again. Is it okay to not understand something? Absolutely. When you don't understand something, then I know what to teach you. And so it actually helps when you make sure that you tell when you don't understand something, because then I can say, oh, now I know what to teach you. All right, my friends, now it's time for our read aloud. And I'm going to read a new book to you today. We haven't heard this book before. And in this story, a little girl and her mom run into a pretty serious problem. And when we read this story, that is what I want you to be listening for. I want you to be looking at the pictures and I want you to be thinking. Remember, reading is thinking. I want you to be thinking, what is the problem? And I want you to think when you hear it, you can give me a big smile like this. And then I'll know that you know where the problem is in the story. All right, this story is called A Chair for My Mother. All right, and this is by Vera Williams. This is one of my favorite stories because do you know that my mommy read this to me when I was little? It's so good. I can't wait to read it to you. I'm just going to wait until everybody has serious eyes until I know. Oh, I see so many serious eyes. Oh, you make me feel so important when you look at me with serious eyes. Okay, let's read our story. A Chair for My Mother. At this point, interviewers, I would read them the story, and I have marked in my book, just for time's sake, where the problem first comes up. So I'm going to read just that part and show you how I would change my expressions and the way that I'm reading in order to sort of highlight where the problem is so that we can talk about that later in our book discussion. All right. My mother and I were coming home from buying new shoes. I had new sandals. She had new pumps. We were walking to our house from the bus. We were looking at everyone's tulips. She was saying she liked red tulips, and I was saying I liked yellow ones. Then we came to our block. Right outside our house stood two big fire engines. I could see lots of smoke. Tall orange flames came out of the roof. All the neighbors stood in a bunch across the street. Mama grabbed my hand and we ran. My Uncle Sandy saw us and ran to us. Mama yelled, "Where's Mother?" I yelled, "Where's my grandma?" My Aunt Ida waved and shouted, "She's here, she's here, she's okay, don't worry." Grandma was all right. Our cat was safe too, though it took a while to find her. But everything else in our whole house was spoiled. So I would finish the story and have a little bit of a discussion about problem and solution again. And then at this point, I would break the kids into their breakout sessions. And I have organized the children in 4 different groups based on their ability levels. So the orange and yellow group are the not proficient groups, and there are a few kids in there with IEPs that I would obviously be very familiar with, knowing how to meet their needs. The blue group is proficient, and the green group is advanced. And so then at this point, I would let the kids know that we were going to go into our breakout groups. All right, my friends, we're going to break into our groups because, you know, I love to give you chances to work with your friends in just a little bit of a smaller group so that we can have more talking and we can have more thinking together. So take a look very carefully. I'm looking, find your name. Thumbs up when you know which group you're going into. Okay, I see David's thumb. I see Sarah's thumb. I see Blaze's thumb. All right. So some of you today are going to be meeting with Mrs. Smith, our paraprofessional, and some of you are going to be meeting with me, and we're going to kind of move through the groups with you. Mrs. Smith and I will be your helpers. All right, I want you to go into your groups and we'll meet back at the end. And at this point, interviewers, I would have the kids go into their groups, and the para and I would be introducing each group to what their task is. For the non-proficient groups and the kids with IEPs, depending on what their needs are, I would have something that looked like this, a sheet with a problem and a solution. And maybe I would even have the lines taken out for the problem and solution, depending on their writing skills. It might be blank, and I might say to them, okay, you guys are going to think really hard about the problem in our story, A Chair for My Mother. What was the problem? And then I would have them draw a picture and label their picture maybe. It just would depend on what their skill level was. And then in the proficient group, I would definitely have them be writing complete sentences, looking for capitalization and punctuation, and have them write their retelling of the problem and the solution in the story. And we would have a discussion about that. And then in the advanced group, I would have them do the same as the proficient group, only to extend it, I would ask them to make a text to self connection and say something like, have you ever had a problem that you had to figure out a solution for? I want you to turn your paper over and tell me all about it on the back. And then I would have them expand on the problem and solution task to extend them on their learning level. Thank you so much for listening. That was super fun. I hope you all have a great day.